piece of plywood with a lot of holes. What am I making? I'm making a paint rack for acrylic paints. And I hadn't originally intended on making a video on doing this. I know there's no written plans because I just kind of wing it and do it as I go, and we're going to do this coming up. I'm Roger, welcome to the shop, and as I mentioned, I'm making a rack for acrylic paints, and this is laid out in Lightburn, and I'm cutting it on the Morture Laser Master 3 this time. With a nibble honeycomb board under there. I'm using air assist. This is 1/4 inch oak plywood, and I'm just using up scraps of stuff to make this, so there's going to be an assortment of woods. And what this is these first 4 shelves will hold 2-ounce bottles, and they'll be spaced like this in a stair-step fashion. You get a little side view there. And the bottom of the bottle for this rack will set on the back of this, and they will just stair-step up. And then on the very top I have some larger bottles. I'm gonna think it'll hold 5 at the very top. So cutting right now, I'm cutting the 4th board. I've got 3 of these cut already, and then I need to cut my top shelf. Then I need to create some sides in a stair step and cut some dadoos, or dadoos, depending on where you're from, to mount this into on the side. And yes, I could have cut little tabs on here and done the little mortise and tenon through the sides, but I decided not to do that. I'm going to be using 1/2 inch plywood for the sides, and it's a little hard to laser cut through that. And I didn't want to screw around with the scroll saw for something like this, so we're just going to do the old dadoos. Those will work. As I mentioned, I'm using 1/4 inch plywood, oak veneer plywood, and this has kind of a composite core. It's not the normal cores like you would see with regular plywood. I think they call it MDO, or medium density overlay plywood, or whatever they call it, MDO. So the settings on this: 10 watt laser, 250 millimeters per minute, 90% power, 3 passes. You'll need to do a test on your wood. It varies from batch to batch and manufacturer to manufacturer, so you'll need to do a little test first. So what size are these holes? Well, the little holes you see that are cutting right now are actually for paint brushes. And the larger hole there is for a larger bottle of acrylic paint, and that is 2.1 inches. And the sizes for the 2-ounce bottles right here are 1.4 inches. The 2-ounce acrylic bottle actually measures 1.325, but I wanted to have a little bit of room in there. And the larger bottles actually measure 2 inches, but I made it 2.1 so we'd have a little bit of room to fit in there in case you get a misshapen bottle or something like that. And it does differ from manufacturer to manufacturer. So if you're making one of these, measure your bottles first. Okay, I got my side pieces cut, and again, there's no written plans for this. I just kind of wing it and go as I go along. This is 14.5 inches high. It's 19.5 inches deep. It sits like this. 1/4 inch dadoos in it. Top one is let in. This will have a bottom on it which will fit on the inside. I haven't cut that yet, but it will fit the square. So the very top shelf will be this one here, which will be for the large bottles. And then the next shelf will fit into the next slot, like so, and so on down the line. So all I have to do now is a whole bunch of sanding, and then I'll get to gluing this thing together. I may put some interim supports in here, and in the lower shelves. I'll have to kind of see how it looks after I get it put together. And if you're wondering, I did all of this on my little table saw over on the other side. You don't have to have a big table saw to do this. If you've got just a little shop saw or a little portable job site saw, it'll work. If you don't have a dado blade, just make 2 passes with your regular blade close together, and you'll have your 1/4 inch slot. It's actually a hair underneath a 1/4. I did use a 1/4 inch dado on this, which made it just a hair oversized, but I'm going to use a thick glue, and that'll kind of fill in the gaps, so to speak. If I was making fine furniture or some space shuttle furniture, I probably would have used a little bit tighter tolerances, but this is just a utility thing. One more thing I'm going to add before I assemble this is I'm going to put a little bit of a 1/4 inch round over on these outside edges here so they're not quite so sharp. I got a little router table back here I can do that on. One paint rack, just got to let the glue to dry and then paint it, stain it, maybe do nothing with it, just put the paints in it. We'll see. This turned out pretty good. Yeah, a couple little minor mistakes in it there, but I threw this thing together in just a couple hours, not counting the laser time, and everything is made out of scraps. So I have nothing in this, so to speak. If you'd like to get the laser files for these, laying out these holes and that, send me an email and I will be glad to send you the Lightburn files for that if you'd like to cut your own. If you do not have a laser and you'd like to make one of these, you can make these holes using a hole saw as well. You don't have to have a laser to do this. And here again, this is just something I needed. I did it real quick, just using scraps from the scrap pile over in the corner. So if you got anything out of this, appreciate getting a thumbs up, always helps the channel. Roger in the shop. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.